People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in. Now, I can't imagine you don't already have it, but if you haven't, please make sure you check out the link. Link is in the description, and get to downloading the One Football app. One Football, all one word, people. And again, I've spoken about it before. It's your one-stop shop for everything. Transfer news, views, opinions, coverage, statistics. They're on the ball. They've got everything. You know, they follow your favorite team. They follow everything going on. Like I said, the One Football, the One Football app. Link is in the description. Make sure you go and get that, especially because it's during the Euros now. They're on the ball. All sorts of Euros opinions. Like I said, transfer news. They're on the ball. But I can't imagine you haven't got it already. If you haven't, check out the links in the description. Get to downloading. Like I said, One Football, all one word. Get to downloading. And I look forward to all of you guys telling me how great it was. I'm out. We live, same shit, different day. Pardon my language, the grind don't stop. People deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe. Good morning to those of you in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where you are. Please make sure you're hitting the like button early doors. Check out the pin message because there's free watch-alongs today, people. Whole load of content from myself has come out. I've been clipping up clips, but make sure you're checking out that. But more importantly, as I said, Sweden versus Poland, Portugal versus France. Make sure you've set your reminders for those watch-alongs. I'd hate for you to miss out. If you can't be there, then do what you can. Just drop a like button, drop a like on the video, please, because it does. I benefit from it. We benefit from it. DG Nation keeps growing with all the engagement levels we can get, people. Now, obviously, we're going to speak about Saliba. That's why I'm here anyways, people. I don't know about nobody else, but it is what it is. Let me take in what you lot are saying. As I said, please make sure you're hitting the like button. I hope you're all well and safe. As I keep saying, we're at Wednesday now. We're halfway through the week. I hope you're all having a good week. I hope you're all smashing your goals, dreams, and aspirations, or better than that, moving closer to that. So it is what it is in that regards, man. Appreciate you, Chase Gold. See, I've rested well, man. I'm calm. Esther said the watch-alongs are going to be lit tonight. I hope so, man. I think the second one flew by. The second game, well, there was only one game yesterday, but you get the point. I think England's game flew by, so hopefully it does, man. Hopefully it does. If we sell Saliba, I'll be fuming. You, me, and I think everybody in this live chat. Saka is the GOAT, but hey, credit to Bukayo Saka, man of the match display for England in his first start in the Euros, showing his levels. Large up DG. That Saka masterclass was cold yesterday. If Arsenal sell Saliba, it'll be a big mistake, but I'm not complaining. If you do, easily has the potential to be a world-class centre-back. Maybe our manager is ducking at the chance because you said potential. Potential's a buzzword, but man have to make someone realise that. I'm going to offer all my thoughts on Saliba, and I personally feel it's quite disgraceful, quite disrespectful. In fact, sorry, people, why the creative juices are flowing, I'm going to just go into it now, man. Before I get into any articles, you know me, I love a Google Doc. Now, for me, I've heard Pep Guardiola, I've heard Arsene Wenger. It's like you're taking leaves out the David Moyes book, and even David Moyes is probably better for young players. I think Arteta, last season, I'm not going to say too many players should be given opportunities. A tough one, but I mean, it takes bravery to play these young players, and I think there's too many problems. You pissed around with Saliba. We don't know what you're doing. We thought Reece Nelson all we heard is he's great 1v1 with all these players he's been coaching at City. We saw the propaganda. Lo and behold, I haven't seen nothing from Nelson. Smith Rowe and Saka were more or less established already. I'll give him credit to Saka, but Martinelli, Guendouzi, Saliba, giving Balogun his Premier League debut. And I don't know how, we don't know what's going to happen with Balogun. I haven't seen clarity as to what we're doing with these young players. And Gabriel, when times got tough, you took him out of the lineup and didn't want to play him. We get told he's great for young players and things like that. But it seems like unless you're fairly established players, Arteta doesn't want to play you. And my pet peeve is he's not looking like an Arsenal manager. I've not yet to see Arteta at any FA Youth Cup, or any youth game. I saw Klopp when Liverpool played at Anfield against Arsenal's under-18s this year. Klopp was there. So again, does he really have an interest in these young players? And for me, it's again poor man management at all levels. This isn't what Arsenal's about. As you can see here, this is not Arsenal. This is not how we treat people. This is not what we should be doing. Forget Saliba's potential. I clearly don't want to sell him for his potential and all of those things. You're going to sell a man without having a chance, like Mavropanos Saliba also says he's had no contact with Mikel Arteta. Only contact's been with Ben Napier, so the manager's left you out cold. The manager has not told Saliba specifically ever what to improve on. Same with Mavropanos. He's not even spoke to Maitland-Niles. You see how I'm connecting the dots? There's a lack of clarity and there's a way of doing things, and you know, it's disgraceful. You've spent big amounts of money on this guy. You know, you've aroused his imagination of coming to this club and being like other French players, dangling this carrot about potential and things. And if you do sell him, what, you know, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, I don't want this to become a Ben White versus Saliba peeing contest, but if you're going to sell Saliba and bring in somebody borderline top class, world class, everyone can shut up and say, all right, cool. Ben White's probably ahead of him. Ben White is ahead of him in his footballing development. You know, he's doing his thing. He's done it at Leeds. He's done it at Brighton. I remember him on loan at Newport. But Saliba's got equal potential. What are we going to say if Saliba goes somewhere and in 2 years he's sat on its head? And for me, any real club would look at them as assets. You've got Ben White, he's English, all of that sort of stuff. You've got Gabriel, you've got Saliba. They're your three centre-halves primarily to work with. Again, I'm not against Saliba going out on loan. I'm not against it because minutes are currency. Again, if you're going to go with Gabriel, you're going to bring in Ben White. You've got Marie and Chambers and Holding. If you want Saliba to get 20, 30 games, I hear that. But to sell a man, well, he ain't played a big match where he ain't played a game professionally for us, where he's got all this potential, where you might get your 30 million back, but, you know, you can make a lot more and you're already going to hold the L with Guendouzi. It's a problem, people. It's a big, big problem. Clearly doesn't fancy him. I don't know the reasons for not fancying him. Has he had a look at him last year in pre-season and said, you know what, I just don't like you? Is it because he's a previous regime player? Is it because, you know, he's good friends with Guendouzi? I don't know. I'm just playing devil's advocate. For me, there's a lot of question marks with Mikel Arteta's man management at all levels with players, people, you know, massively. And again, if you do sell him, you know, fair enough. You know, he's, you know, not here to say if he's going to be better than Fofana and stuff, but he's someone as potential. They rate him in France, deservedly so. You clearly rate him because somebody scouted him and signed him. To let that go, there's got to be something wrong. Is there something off the field that is influencing this decision that we know? If he does go, again, it's a mismanagement of finances. Someone's got to just, it would be a flop because the man didn't get a chance, not through Saliba's fault. 110 of you, make sure that says 110 likes. Someone's got to justify that mismanagement of wages and finances. And that ties in with whoever decided to get Ceballos on loan twice, whoever wanted to bring Luiz for a new deal, whoever wanted to give Willian, and Luiz was cool, whoever wanted to give Willian a contract, you know, these sort of Dennis Suarez as well. These things have to be signed off. Again, historical problems at this club. Xhaka, Lacazette, Pepe. I'm not saying any of them are good players or bad players. My point of saying them names is because they divide opinion. So again, someone's going to have to justify that mismanagement of finances, which again, it's absolutely disgraceful. And again, for me, you haven't played a man. You haven't tried to work with a man. You messed up his development for a few months. And it's well common knowledge that Mavropanos and Saliba have never specifically, while they've been on loan, or in Saliba's case, since he's been here, told what to specifically improve under Mikel Arteta. So if you're not telling a man what to do, how can he get a look in? And he must feel disillusioned. Like I said, just as a human element, this isn't how you treat someone. I know it's the real world and stuff, but this is how we treat someone. This ain't Arsenal's values. This is fucking disgraceful, and it pees me off, people. Arteta's an absolute disgrace if this is the case, and I want him out. Not because of the Saliba thing. It's just this is the straw that broke the camel's back, and I'm very scared for young players under him. I want to be wrong. I want to look back at this video and say I'm tweaking, but anytime he looks to bring young players in, and a time where we need that, he's buckled it. You know, I want Balogun to get game time, provided he earns it. Where's he going to play? How many minutes is he going to play? What are you going to do with Martinelli? How are you going to coach Gabriel? You know, how are you, if Joe Willock stays, how are you going to get a tune out of him? Why has Joe Willock showed more consistency at Newcastle than he has under you? Because underneath of it, you don't want to play young players. You're scared to do it. And the experienced players you lean upon let you down. Like I said, he clearly doesn't fancy him. He's a past recruitment signing. He might have looked at him last season and said he's not levels. Loaning him out, I have no problem with it. It would frustrate me, but I have no problem. Once again, for those of you misstating me, it's the selling, man, that gets on my nerves, man. And again, for me, it's shown Arteta can't work with tools he has available because he didn't even want to play Holding. Holding's got a look in. He likes Chambers. He hasn't shown me something out of Gabriel. You know, Saliba wasn't his player, but you're telling me there's not a base to work with there. It's crazy. And like I said, does he have an interest in youth football because he's never there? Yeah, again, his handling of man management has been terrible. And again, You know, we all know how he's handling of Aubameyang. You know, it's well common knowledge Aubameyang actually played against Liverpool with malaria, and it's well common knowledge that actually when Mikel Arteta could either shut up about it or sway from it, he's saying things like he's on the standby list. It's well documented. There's so many opportunities with Guendouzi, with you know, whether it's man management, game management, players that have come in. There's numerous times he's shown poor man management, poor game management, and poor squad management. This is too big of a job currently for Mikel Arteta, and I want him to pull it around. But I mean, come on now. And this is actually where I know someone shouldn't get involved in this sort of stuff. But this is where I want someone to say, "F off Arteta if you're thinking of selling Saliba." And again, we must have money. If we can look at a man and say we're not using him, you know, and he's not out of game time, it's disgraceful. The man hasn't had a sniff. For me, it's more the fact that we're selling him, and this isn't Arsenal. This isn't Arsenal's values. I hope that he still has a chance to show in pre-season, and what shall be, shall be. But for what it's worth, people, Arsenal edge closer to Ben White transfer as William Saliba assesses options ahead of a possible exit. We all know where the favourites to land him. We've had a 40 million bid rejected. And for me, is he significantly better? He's ahead of his development because he played a lot more football. Is Ben White significantly better? And like I said, this doesn't become Ben White versus Saliba because I want the both of them. It goes with the logic. If he doesn't want 3 young defenders to work with, I hear it. But I don't see why. To play young players is brave. Clearly, Arteta lacks ready-made talents. You know, what has he done? We heard Reece Nelson was going to take off under Arteta. What's happened? You know, there's not a single player that's excelling through Arteta where you could say it's just him. You could say Saka and Smith Rowe, and I think he deserves that. But he never blooded Saka and Smith Rowe. He can't claim that. Really and truly. Apparently, Football.London suggests Saliba is assessing his options, the 20-year-old, and he's still only 20. This is why I don't mind him being loaned out. But he showed his quality at least. We talk about being a club that wants to sign the players of tomorrow. How are we going to get them there? Because Ben White's not in his full development, you know. How are we going to make Ben White, not Tony Adams, but anything close to a percentage of Tony Adams? How are you going to make Gabriel that Brazil international? The same ring choose for Martinelli. You said Martinelli should be able to play across all front 3 positions. How are you working with him? You know, Saka's an amazing footballer, but how are you going to make Saka able to take corners, for example? How are you working with anyone, whether they're young players in and around this first team or not? I don't think anyone has confidence because Mikel Arteta doesn't double down in anything, you know, and the propaganda with this manager has been nothing short of amazing, people. You can see in Amazon how when he's talking to, in that episode, when he's talking to Sterling, Sterling scores and the camera pans over right to Arteta. So you can see how there's the media language, you know, the media campaign PR has benefited Mikel Arteta the same way it has with Lampard. When I look beneath the hood, I think he likes to play young players and them things there. But when I look at it, there's poorness. You know, he tried to, from the start, rub out the 72 million man in Pepe, where we thought it was the end for, and that's maybe why you can't rule out Saliba. But you've got your record signing, you know, big money, French centre-half with all what's going on in France. You don't want to play him. You're messing around with Martinelli. What are you trying to do? You're messing around with Aubameyang. You're messing around with Partey. You're messing around with Xhaka, David Luiz, Tierney. You know, there's many examples. What are you doing? The team is meant to look young, hungry, and innovative. A team is meant to be a reflection of the manager. And I'm not trying to be harsh. I call it as I see it as a fan. I don't see it. But going back, as you lot know, he was there. He was January Player of the Month with Nice. You know, he actually was nominated for League R Team of the Season. You know, for me personally, these names need to go first. I don't really see it. I don't see why. And are you going to tell me in 2-3 years, potentially having Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White? I like Holding, so I'm going to say Holding is better than Callum Chambers, Holding, Marie, Ben White, Gabriel. Boy. And like I said, with Ben White and Gabriel, even if it's just them two, how are you going to improve them? Because I'm sure there's many weaknesses in Ben White's game that we're going to learn about. Same goes for Gabriel. The article's just gone on to say it's linked Saliba with all of them sort of things there, people. So we'll have to see. Big up Chris Wheatley, but it's a long way away from this. Saliba, you know, just in May, just over a month, under a month ago, William Saliba will return to Arsenal in July, where he'll be given an opportunity to impress in pre-season. He isn't for sale and won't be leaving Arsenal this summer. So I'm inclined to believe primarily that's it. But what has changed? What has changed for us? Oh, I'm about to say it said I'm not following him. Of course I'm following Chris. What has changed? What has changed? You know, did we not think we're going to sign Ben White or didn't think a centre-half was a possibility? Has anything changed? And this is the media. We don't know. But commenting on what I see isn't a good look, you know. I'm not in the know, but people I've spoken to all wax lyrical about Saliba. To be fair, they did wax lyrical about Mavropanos and El Nene, well, the man them in training. An Arsenal Academy player told his agent last season that Saliba is the best centre-back at the club. I don't really think that. But apparently, you know, that's what they're saying. I think it's Gabriel, but fair play. We'll talk about that in a sec. Allegedly, William Saliba has already hinted his next move as Mikel Arteta decides his Arsenal future. Football.London understands the Frenchman, who is yet to make a competitive appearance for Arsenal despite joining for 27 million in January 2019, is assessing his options ahead of the new season. In fact, Football.London has been told by multiple sources that Saliba could even be sold this summer, despite initial suggestions that he was likely to be given an opportunity to impress in the first team next season. Now, I don't mind him going out on loan. Like I said, I keep saying it because I don't want people to mispronounce it. Would it frustrate me, him going on loan like he did back to St. Etienne? While I agreed with it, I understood it. The same with Nice. Minutes are currency. If you're going to loan him out, ideally to the Prem, Newcastle's been linked where you say, all right, cool, Saliba, I'm going to bring him Ben White. Gabriel's going to be here. You know, next season between Chambers and Marie, one of them probably should be palmed off or marginalized. You're coming back next season. I don't mind that. And I hope that's the case. Again, nothing's done until the fat lady sings. No one has said it yet. Until I seen Ornstein and them brothers, you know, I got small hope. Saliba, you know, maybe selling Saliba for that video thing, really. I want the gaffer to go before Saliba, really and truly, just because for me, it doesn't, again, it goes beyond Saliba, actually. This isn't what Arsenal's meant to be about. We're meant to give people a chance. We're meant to do this young player thing. We're meant to give people clarity, especially if someone that we have signed and a young man, if this is any other job, you have brought a young 19-year-old, maybe even 18 at the time. If this is any other work, you've taken him to another country and you've left him in the cold. This is disgrace. This isn't what Arsenal's about. You know me, I'm a Wenger baby. You know, this isn't what Wenger would be doing. But granted, I think Saka, Guendouzi, Saliba, Joe, they'd all love playing under Wenger, really, for what it's worth. But I think he deserves an opportunity to impress in pre-season. Furthermore, it's also been suggested that his age is another reason why manager Mikel Arteta has made this decision, and as he is said to be reluctant to throw him into the team. Well, pardon my language, age is only a number in a footballing sense. I don't know what Buki brothers are doing. If you're good enough, you're old enough. And again, we know Arsenal, we need players that can hit the ground running. This is why I understand if we're going to try, you know, there's only so much development that can be done. 245, make sure you're hitting that like button. So if we're loaning, if we've got Gabriel and Ben White and they're the guys that we're working with, I understand maybe loaning out people. But firstly, the young players or the younger players are the ones that's pulling this club along. You know, it's not the experience. One love to David Luiz, and Xhaka's done a thing here and there. But, you know, if you're 8th and Xhaka's one of your best players of the season, that tells you everything. David Luiz shouldn't have been brought to the club, much less given a new deal, much less, you know, the fact that we're relying on whether he's staying or going. As we know, with all the players linked, you never get the vibe that Arsenal is giving them an ultimatum. It's more like they're deciding they're gone. So I understand it, but we're meant to be young and innovative. And like I said, Saka, Smith Rowe, early 20s, they're saving the club. Tierney, saving the club. Gabriel, it's the older players letting it down. And if you're good enough, you're old enough. And for me, this tells me a man is shook, because if you play Saliba, of course, we need instant success next season to a degree. But if you play Saliba, as I say, he's going to have good moments. He's going to drop some clangers. You need to be brave enough to do such. And this is what I mean. You tell us it's a young player thing, it's this and that, but it's all false pretenses. Because anytime I'm yet to see Arteta throw his hat on a young player and say, Nelson, you're the guy. You're the guy. You're this. So far, it's the Rebos. With respect, it's El Nene, Chambers, Marie. It's these guys getting new leases of life. And I'm doing Chambers dirty because I like Chambers. You know, it's not good. It's not guys that are going to be here for the future. And like I always say, as much as I like Arteta, when we look beyond it, bro, how much has Pep and Wenger had an influence on his career? I'm sure they have, but he was there with David Moyes far longer. So and I'm not trying to get at David Moyes, but, you know, I think there's a lot of PR around Arteta and how he actually thinks. And I think I'm guilty of believing that and flooding you lot with it as well, because, you know, I'm not seeing you throw your hat on young players. It's quite disgraceful, and it makes me ashamed to be an Arsenal fan. This is how you're going to deal with an individual, not even giving him a snowballs opportunity at this football club. Without, you know, it's a joke thing. It's an absolute joke. For what it's worth, Le 10 Sport has said, coveted by Marseille, Saliba does not seem to rule out the option of a departure from Arsenal this summer. This summer, Paulo Longoria is multiplying the avenues in order to strengthen Sampoli's workforce. We all know Gilson has been brought in. Let's skip to the Saliba stuff. Saliba assesses what is best. In fact, in recent weeks, the name of William Saliba has been circulating on the side of Marseille. Loaned out during the second part of last season, apparently he's not in Mikel Arteta's plans. A departure is therefore envisioned. Saliba's entourage is sure that he's assessing what is best. It remains to be seen what will be the best, and it's to play games and to be somewhere you're actually rated. Like I said, if Arsenal have if Saliba, for me, it's the fact that we're messing about with his development, and it seems like we're keeping everybody in the dark. We're keeping Saliba in the dark. We're keeping our fans in the dark. How's a man meant to develop if you're not telling him what to improve, how to improve, and you're not doing it? All I heard was propaganda pieces about Mikel Arteta, how he's very hands-on. All I heard was, what is his name, Carlos Cavas or something. There's an individual development coach at this football team. So why is Arteta not telling him, yo, I think Saliba's shaking the air. I think he's this, that, and the other. Go, after the main group of training, go for an hour and pull him over to the side. And these things, there's no clarity. Like I say, it's all fun and games talking about potential, but potential needs to be realized. And cool, we could say, you know what, it's not that deep, forget Saliba. But what about the players that are at the club? If you're in the dark over this with Saliba, what are you doing with Gabriel? What are you going to do with Martinelli? Saka, there's going to get a point where we're saying, why isn't he scoring more? Why isn't he getting more assists? For me, the corners, there's just general talking points. And any young talented player, we'll go on for Balogun. Like I said, we've got to allow young players, but what's going to go on? Because you never gave him his debut in the Prem. It's very cowardly. Very cowardly. It's very disgraceful. And for me, like I said, it's not how we're supposed to do things. I know we're not the Arsenal of what we used to be, but this is a mockery. This is part of my language of fuckery, people. This ain't how you treat people. Any other walk of life, in any other job, you're calling this organization an absolute disgrace, people. Because what is this? You brought a man over, a man that could have signed for any other club. We owe him nothing in that regards. He picked us, could have signed for other clubs, signed for us because of the French ties and because of what he saw, could be a leader of the new school. Absolutely atrocious, really and truly, man. And, it seems like Mikel Arteta's words mean nothing. And like I said, it's not over to the fat lady sings. We don't know what hasn't been said, people. Nothing has been decided yet, really and truly, man. Obviously, Saliba, like I said here, Saliba's had family bereavement, everything, and we've left man in the cold. And that's actually something that needs to improve dramatically with Mikel Arteta. Man management, you can have all the statistics and stats and, all them things in the world. But if you're not a good people's person, if you're not a good human being to your players, if you're not able to connect to them on that aspect, you can forget about it. And there's too many times I'm seeing players say they're in the cold. Even players that are alienated, you can't leave them in the cold. You've got to keep everybody on side. And, I'm starting to get very peed off with Mikel Arteta, if I'm completely honest with you, What have we seen here, people? Mikel Arteta's comments on Saliba suggest something doesn't add up at Arsenal. Let's go, man. And he's got 2 years left on his deal, allegedly, so something's got to change. Let's scroll down, man. Just say you don't rate him or he's not ready. Just a bit of clarity. Apparently, it said, you will see in the summer the possible replacement. Willian is our player for sure, and that's the decision we're going to be taking soon. When we finish the season, we'll sit down and discuss the roles of every player in our squad and how they can fulfill that role. He's our player, so he'll be back here for sure, maybe for a week to sort out his deal. After that, we'll make a decision based on an agreement of the role of each player is going to have in our squad. Now, if he says, Saliba, I'm going to keep you, but you might struggle for game time, then I understand the game. I understand going on loan. He said we had 8 centre-backs, which is unheard of, but we didn't find the right moment or find the right agreement or right moment to do that. And you can't afford that. The same way you pissed around with Partey, and that's above you. That's on Edu. With bringing in Partey. Can we really be surprised Partey's struggled? We all know physically it takes a lot to get up to grips with the Premier League. So are we surprised he came in the latter stages and he struggled and he's picked up these little knocks? And we've also showed poor game management. You want to loan out, so you can't afford for this to happen. You can't afford to say we tried, we wanted to loan him out, we wanted to do this. You can't afford that. This is absolutely disgraceful. There's a lack of communication from Arteta for players on loan. There's a lack of clarity to these players on what to improve. It is absolutely disgraceful and it's not on. It's not on. I'm tired of this. If you loan him out, but this ain't what we're supposed to be about. And it's another thing where I look at, and I don't know what I'm going for Arteta, man. As you can see, I'm trying to go to page 10 and all of these things in in whatnot. And I think he might be peed off with Saliba for what it's worth. Saliba has done a lot of talking in the press and things, but Saliba just wants to learn. You haven't given him clarity. You haven't shown that human element. And I think that might be a bad trait you've picked up from Pep. But when you're Pep, you can do that. Arteta, you can't. You know, it seems like there's a false ego. And to be honest, your face is starting to annoy me. Please make sure you hit the like button. There's 300 of you locked in here, people. Let me scroll down and see what's being said. Well, this is the exact same things, really and truly, isn't it, really? So, yeah, I think Saliba should be part of the plans, but what do I know, man? I don't affect anything. We'll have to see what happens, people, you know? Even with Ben White, you know, if you can't roll with some of the young defenders that are at your club, how are you going to train Ben White? Because there's going to come a time when we're questioning why hasn't White improved and all of those sort of things. We're going to. Same with what I'm doing with Gabriel, because, you know, you're only as good as the gaffer. Is what it is. Please make sure you're hitting that like button, though, people. That's all I've got to say in relation to William Saliba. We're going to crack on with a couple of other things, but, you know, as I said, the creative juices were flowing. I wanted to take him. I wanted to get that one out here, but what are you lot saying, man? This is what happens when someone has an ego and stubbornness of Pep without actually having the skill and gravitas that a world-class manager has. I mean, it seems like he's in an echo chamber, man. Big up the moderators and whatnot. Big up the Asian supporters out there. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate that. We've got New York in the building as well. Come on, my guy. CS, you're always listening to the guy in the morning workout. Whatever I can do to make the workouts easier, my guy. I need to go to the gym. It's been a mad list. Let's get to 200 likes. I know we're probably not even at 100. Oh, fair play. We're at 123. I appreciate that. I see there's been a super chat. Can I bring it up? Ooh. But I can't bring it up. Let me scroll up, man. I don't want to be doing people dirty. I appreciate that. But I recognize I've been talking for a hot second. There it is. Ashley, I appreciate that. This is a crime against football. Even Jermaine Pennant and Ravel Morrison got chances. Fair play. Probably fake agent talks for him to get more game time. Matt, I don't agree, but I see why it'd be there. Loan makes sense even for 2 seasons. I mean, you'd have to deal with his contract first before sending him out for 2 years. It is what it is, man. He's the best for me. I think Gabriel's better than him, but fair play. Why do people believe a story from the Sun? I think he'll stay. Matt, I'm just using the Scum's paper. You know, it's multiple papers reporting such, but yeah, man. I think he'll... listen, I don't know, man. I thought he would have stayed, and then it just seems like the rhetoric seems to be him going, man. We'll have to see, man. Saliba playing the way he does. And one thing I would say for fans... There's a lot of fans who feel the way I feel with legitimate reasons, but there's a lot of fans, let's be real, they don't know what the hell they want. They don't know if Saliba's good or not. They just want to moan. Same man said Joe Willock's not good enough, moaned about him going on loan to Newcastle now. Yeah, there's some people that will cry about Saliba playing and then cry for him to start. He'll have about 5 good games, and then when he has 5 bad games, such as the minute balance of life, not that he needs to improve or anything, not that they wouldn't say that he needs to improve or anything. They'll say he's not good enough. You've got a 20-year-old. He's going to get beaten up in the Premier League. He'll have great games. I already see a lot in Saliba's game that it means he'll get bullied by. You know, sometimes he plays it out the back unnecessarily. Heading is a big area, you know. Sometimes he gets caught flat-footed. Mobility. There's a lot of things for why he might not be ready. But at the same time, we signed him knowing this. We signed a young man with potential. You need to go through those tough moments, you know, and I want to see that. Again, we can, there's going to be many players with potential signed long after Saliba, but as long as we've got a manager who doesn't look like he's going to realize it, it's an issue. As I said, with Ben White, he's still probably got, but he's 23. I'm sure he's not, we wouldn't be spending this money allegedly if he wasn't seen as going up a level. How is he going to go up a level? Because it's all on the player. Like his life, but it's all on the manager. You know, he makes mistakes, but you can tell he'll be Yoni, you're right, he'll be special in a few years. 100%. 100%. And to let him go without having a snowball's chance, if true, boy, further confirms to me this football club is not what I grew up on and in terms of values. You know, it's absolutely disgraceful. Absolutely disgraceful, man. Pepe saved this. Your Pepe, they didn't want to play Pepe, man. They don't want to play Pepe, man. I see your point. I want all 3, Ben, White, Saliba and Gabriel. Those should be our 3 centre-backs we run with. It's our rebuilding season. Finally, no Europe. Let's work this. And I understand it because I'm not going to lie. While I want that, I think you need a man that's 26, 27, where I'm probably looking at Maria. It is very young and naive defence. You can't really do that in the Prem. You can run that in Liga, where you've seen Nice do it with Todibo. You remember Toulouse had a couple, you know, when Todibo was there, Toulouse did it and they did it after him, man. So, yeah, man. Is what it is. There's no such thing as values at Arsenal anymore. There's a lot of people who reflect the values, but you know, when I look at first team level, there's issues. Arteta is a politician. It's crazy, man. That's why a part of me feels surely the man has had one appearance against MK Dons. You still had to pay. The true cost is more than 27, 28, 30 million because you've got to pay his weekly wages. Surely you don't do that without giving a man a proper sniff. But when I look at it, I don't think he fancies him. I think he's looking at it as you're part of the old regime. You ain't got nothing to do with me. Let me get away with it. There is a lot of projects at this club, you know. And I don't know if Arteta's the guy, because how are you going to even take Tierney talks about how a great manager you are. How are you going to take Tierney to the next level? You know, Saka to the next level, Smith Rowe to the next level. Any number 8, number 10, right back, centre half that arrives in this club, assuming Ben White does, assuming by God's grace Saliba stays. Gabriel, how are you going to take him to the next level? How are you going to keep improving? If you bring in Onana in goal, how are you going to take him to the next level? How are you going to get that out of Martinelli? How are you going to make sure that we can look back a year from when the season starts, or, you know, this time a year from now, say, well, Balogun, he's at this level now. He's there, you know. Again, I don't know. You can talk all the right way. You can wear the tracksuits. You can have the MA on your badge. You can say all the diplomatic things, but, you know, the doing is tough, and it's absolutely disgraceful, man. Varro, we are seeing what's happening. We're only commenting on what's happening. We're only talking on the newspaper speculation. As I've just said, whether he stays or goes, we don't know. But we can only comment on what we exactly see. We don't know if he's staying. We don't know if he's going. But we can only comment on what we've seen. Like I said, don't shoot the messenger. We'll see. You know, Mikel Arteta said he's going to get opportunities. As I showed you with the Charles Watts things, the language did change. We'll have to see. But it doesn't sound good. It is what it is, man. I'll have the last laugh when Saliba doesn't go anywhere. Bro, this isn't... I don't think it's a thing for anything to have the last laugh. I think we'd all love him to stay. I don't quite know what you're laughing at or where you're laughing, but fair play. It sounds a bit sad, my guy. But, you know, this is the problem with football fans. You want to be right and not actually